Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rising Stories Podcast. I'm Corine Sandifer, your host. A few years ago, I decided to devote my time to empowering women, and since then, I have helped lots of women build their businesses. I started a Lean In network in Nashville, met Sheryl Sandberg, and started this podcast featuring women who are rising in their stories. What you'll find on this show is two women talking about how they got their start in business and best business practices. You'll also hear great advice for anyone wanting to move forward in every stage in life. We share productivity tips, favorite apps, and things that we are finding that are good and wise. If you are someone who needs some encouragement to launch your dream, or if you want to hear more about how to work at your highest level, or maybe you just love hearing stories from fascinating women like I do, then this is the podcast for you. Today on the show, I am talking with Hayley Morgan. Hayley is a writer, speaker, and entrepreneur who is the co-author of Wild and Free with Jess Connelly. She has a new book out now, and it's called Always Enough, Never Too Much. Hayley reminds women what is true about God and about themselves. Hayley and I talk about that perceived finish line and finding satisfaction in the process. So important to keep perspective when you are working your business or writing a book. You will love hearing what she does with her family every single Sunday. This conversation was so much fun. It is chock full of lots of wisdom, great business advice, and just fun conversations between two girlfriends. You are going to love it. But before we begin, I would love it if you would join me on Instagram. Join the fun on Sunday nights as I share my productivity tips for the week. Tips like how to categorize your to-do list and best practices for keeping your priorities together. Don't forget that next week I will share my Friday favorites, which is a new thing on Rising Stories podcast. Every other week, I'll share some of my favorite things that I am loving. And if you have something that you think I'm going to enjoy, send me a direct message or let me know what that is. Here is my conversation with Hayley Morgan. Hi, Hayley.
Hi, how are you, Corinne?
Good. Thanks so much for coming on Rising Stories.
It's so fun. I'm so excited to chat.
Yeah. Are you on vacation? Because we're Skyping and I'm looking at your behind you. Are you in some tropical place?
No, I'm in my office. We have these cut paper kind of tropical shape things for when we have pop-up shops at our office.
Okay.
So, yeah,
well,
that way.
I was like, she might be on vacation. That would be really cool because we are recording during the summer. And so, yeah. So you have just written a book and you've written it with Jess Connelly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Always Enough, Never Too Much. Or maybe it's the opposite.
You got it right.
Flip the book, and is it opposite? I didn't even look. I know it's for those of you who don't have it, you should go out and get it because it's really cool that you can flip it. And it's the opposite, like it's a different...
yeah. It's like the always enough side and then the never too much side.
Yes. Yeah. So it flips, yeah.
Yeah, in titling the book, we wanted to put always enough first. They kind of came to us first and thought never too much, always enough. And that makes sense. It makes sense in how it sounds and how it flows. And it's like the answer to the question. But we wanted it to be positive, and we wanted the first gut thing to be on the positive end and not to feel the lack. I know so much of marketing is creating a feeling of lack for people, and so that they want to fill it with your product. But I just kind of have like an ethical thing against that. And so it was important to Jess and I to kind of title it from the positive spin of it rather than the opposite.
Yeah, that's hard because you want to create that sense of, oh, I need that.
Yeah, right.
But affirmations are good too.
Yeah.
You know, affirmations are good. And always enough is a great affirmation. And it's 100 devotions. And it says 100 devotions to quit comparing, stop hiding, start living wild and free, which I love wild and free. And I love the quit comparing because it is just our ball and chain that women carry every single day. I mean, and Instagram doesn't help.
Right.
Pinterest doesn't help.
Right.
Even when you go to soccer, the soccer field with your kid, it's like there's always a comparison. And I'm trying really hard to not have my kids feel that, but I feel like it's everywhere.
I know. Do you follow the Enneagram, or have you looked into that at all? I'm a 3 on the Enneagram, and I realized that so much of my comparison with other people is not envy. It's me trying to figure out where I stack against the large amount of people that live in the world. And it doesn't make it better, but it helps me reframe, and it helps me figure out, like, why am I constantly comparing? And it's not because I'm like, oh gosh, I wish that I had that XYZ nice car, or that size house, or that whatever, or that my kids looked like, were dressed like that, or whatever. But I'm trying to see, am I doing an okay job? And I think that helps me realize it, because it's a different kind of soul cry. It comes from a different place. And so I think I can start to heal those parts that, like, why do I constantly want to know if I'm enough? Why do I constantly wonder? And I think that is something that, I have explored. I continue to explore. I feel like it's something I'll always be kind of trying to grow in. So.
What's your biggest challenge when you have that comparison as a mom, as a woman? What are some things that are like, oh gosh, I really can't go there. I shouldn't, that might trigger that?
Yeah, I think so. I have 4 boys, and we are definitely not a fully styled family where we go out and we're constantly in matching clothes, or where my kids are wearing suspenders and fedoras. That's just it's not how our family is. They want to wear basketball shorts and Under Armour t-shirts, and they're just not into looking fashionable. And I think sometimes as women, there are things, when you see other people and their kids are all put together and they all look like they're ready for their next family photo shoot. It's not that I actually want my kids to do that, but it puts out an air of I've got this handled. I have got this so taken care of. I can spend extra time on what my kids look like. Whereas I'm find some clean underwear from the dryer, get socks. I don't really care if they match. Just make sure that the heights are the same. So one's not way up your calf and one's not the no-show sock. That's all I really care about. And so I think I would say that's something that I kind of have to battle against. And mostly it's just because of that feeling of, it makes me feel like I'm behind, or that I'm always behind the 8 ball, or oh gosh, what are the other things that I'm not able to stay on top of? And that just kind of goes down that rabbit trail.
Yeah. And I wonder why we have because I don't feel like if I would see your kids, and just to kind of let you know, we homeschooled when my kids were little. And so I've been around a homeschooling community, and those homeschoolers, we homeschoolers, I say, they just dressed however they wanted to, because they didn't have a dress code. They didn't have to go to school. And so, we just, put whatever on and let's go. I mean, little girls running around in tutus with cowboy boots, and my son wearing, soccer pants with cowboy boots and a hat was just the norm for us. But what's interesting is you actually, for those of you that don't know about I think you put it on Instagram, but it's you take a picture of your kids every Sunday.
Yeah, I do.
I love that.
Every Sunday. Yeah, every Sunday. And it's just right before we go in the door. It's like a little brick wall right outside the door. And whether we're early, whether we're late, whether we're running in and it's raining, we always do it. And it takes about 1 second. I don't care if it looks perfect. I don't care if everybody's even looking at the camera. I just do it because I can see how the kids are growing over time, and their relationship with each other, because they stand next to different siblings in each one. And we've been doing it for 3 years now. And so every Sunday that we've been at church, I have a picture from it. And the great part is like, I don't even really make my kids like dress up for church or dress like cute for church. So they're all wearing their like crazy amalgam of clothes that they're wearing. And with 4 boys, it means that it's like bright red and orange and neon green. And it's a hot mess. I would never like, they're not pictures I would frame. They're not whatever, but it will be a memory that we can look back on and we can see actual real life on, you know, when we were all together and all of that. So
it's interesting. Are they all like don't care about clothes, or is there one that's a little bit more stylish?
I have one that just naturally like wears clothes better. Like I think he looks like he's more confident in his body and his self. But he hasn't yet really started. He's 9, and he hasn't really started caring about the particular clothes. But he's like the kid who can put anything together and look super like stylish and cute. But he doesn't really think about it. So I think it's interesting. But the other ones, no, they could not care less. They would wear, anything.
Yeah, well, you can imagine what mine looked like. I have one son, and when he was little, well, he's colorblind, so there's that.
Yeah.
Now it's a little bit more where he's a teenager and I can say, oh yeah, that doesn't go. So, but he still, he still will come up with whatever. He still wears whatever to church, but every now and then we have to stop him and go, oh wait, those are 2 different colors.
Yes, one of my kids is really into wearing all one color. And the color he particularly likes to wear is like traffic cone orange. So it will be like a hat, a shirt, shorts, and socks, all in like traffic cone orange, but like slightly varying shades. Like they're not from the same brand. So it's not like, and I'm like, oh babe, this is really a look. You have committed to this. This is a look.
Oh, wow.
It's fun.
Yeah. So Hayley, what is something that has been challenging for you as a mom and a businesswoman? Where are you finding that balance that's actually working for you, that you're like, I got this. I'm doing this well?
Yeah. Well, it comes in spurts, fits and spurts. I feel like, right. I don't know. I feel like as a mom in general, it's like you get something figured out and then it changes. And so, and a mom businesswoman, it's just amplified. So it's like when you have a little newborn and you're like, oh, yay, they're sleeping through the night. This is wonderful. And then they start like cutting teeth or something, and then they don't sleep through the night, and then something changes. They go through a growth spurt, whatever. I feel like that's the story of my life. I get something figured out, and then something changes, and then I spend another 2 months trying to get it figured out. So right now it's summertime. My kids are all off school, which I love because I don't like the morning rigmarole of getting them up, getting them fed, getting them out the door. They're getting older, so it's getting easier, but it feels like it feels frantic, like high pace, high stress. They're not super thrilled. I'm not super thrilled. And so during the school year, that definitely wears on me. And then by the time I get into work, I just feel fatigued. I already feel like I lost the day because it didn't start out well. And this is even on days where it is just fine, where it's normal. It's not like bad things happen. It's just that's how the day starts. So I'm loving summer, not having to do that. And we have a nanny who comes 3 days a week just for the morning. So she comes from 9 until 1:30. And it's great because it's enough time for me to get into the office, get the stuff I need to do done. I have to be super diligent. I have to use all of my time really well. And so I think that we've fallen into a good rhythm. But in the fall, my youngest son goes to kindergarten. So I will officially have everybody in school all day. And that feels crazy. That feels like it's going to be its own new thing to adjust to. And I'm looking forward to just the mental space that gives, just knowing everybody is in one place. Like nobody needs me, barring any emergency, from in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. And that hasn't been the case for the last 12 years. So that will be interesting. But yeah, I think just finding a good rhythm in different seasons has been the only thing that saves my life, is knowing that things will change and just trying to get to a good rhythm as quickly as possible in each new season.
Yeah, that'll be a great season where you have, I used to call that my glory my glory year when they were all in the
Yeah.
same school and everybody was at
Yes.
school. And what's interesting is that my advice is buy
Tell me.
margin. Buy margin because you never know when something will happen. And what I mean by buy margin is like make your time count and like do extra than you need to on those
Yeah.
days because like then there'll be days where they're sick or you have to go pick them up from school early
Yeah.
or there's a field trip and you want to go. And so I was always trying to keep that margin going like, oh yeah, well I'll be able, it's kind of like when you're at work and you can get a bunch of stuff done so that if you want to get off on Friday afternoon at 2, you can. So kind
Yes.
of the same thing. Yeah.
Yes. I'm all about the margin. That's so wise.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is the best business advice anyone's given you about what you're doing as an author, as a businesswoman?
Yeah. Well, I can think of one thing in particular. I have a friend named Susie, and she's an author, Susie Davis, and she told me I was probably 26, maybe it was several years ago, and she told me that she knew I'd write a book someday, which I don't know how she knew that, but that in itself probably changed my life as it was. But then also she said, but you have so much time. You do not have to do it now. You do not have to rush it. It will be there whenever it's time for you to do that. And she said it's kind of the thing that once you start, you can't really stop. And so to make a wise decision and to start that process in the right time and in the right season. So I think that kind of I think about that in all of my business things, that it's not a rush. It's not a trying to get to some perceived finish line. It's you really have the time that you need.
That is good advice. Yeah, because I feel like we're always trying to get to that next level so
Mm-hmm.
super, fast.
Mm-hmm.
And just, we cannot skip those steps of process and
Right. And there's at least for me, and it might be just how I'm wired, but I'm not great at celebrating the successes. So those perceived finish lines really don't mean a lot to me. I don't get a lot of satisfaction out of them. It's just kind of like once I finish it, I'm ready to go do the next thing. And so it's been important for me to realize that about myself, that I don't look to that finish line to be some mountaintop experience for me, and to really find satisfaction in the process of it, and to really know that really that's the job, is the day-to-day process. And it's like motherhood, it's like writing a book, it's like running a business, that if you don't enjoy the day-to-day, you're kind of sunk. Or if you can't at least find a way to do the day-to-day without hating it.
right.
Because,
Yeah.
every day isn't wonderful, but enjoying the overall work of it is important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so good. Such good advice. Yeah. What are you a reader? Do you like to read books?
Oh, I love to read. Yes. My kids have really started loving to read too, and nothing makes me more excited than seeing them love to read. So we go to the library all the time. I don't have time to go like browse really. So I always just go to the new release section and just pick like several fiction books that look good, and then just read whatever suits my fancy out of those and return them, even if I haven't read them that way. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you start a fiction book and at least I'm like, oh, this is a dud. I'm not getting into it. And I don't have a lot of extra time. So if I'm not enjoying something, I'm totally the person who will like not finish the book. So yeah, I do love to read, to answer your question.
Yeah, yeah. Have you and your boys ever read Knuckleheads by Jon Scieszka?
No,
Oh my
we
gosh, you
should.
don't know about Jon Scieszka?
No.
With 4 boys, you must. I
Okay,
mean, absolutely get it today.
I will.
Anything by Jon Scieszka. I
Okay.
think I'll send you or I'll put it on the link for sure for the
Yeah.
others, but for sure I'll send it to you. But Knuckleheads, it's about his stories of growing up with I don't know, he had like 5 brothers, 5
Oh
or 6
man,
brothers. It is hilarious. We
I
listened to
love
it
it.
on our way to a vacation one year and just belly laughed like all the way down to the beach. It was hilarious because
That's the
he's
best
so
kind of
funny.
drive.
So fun, so fun.
Oh, I love it.
What are you reading right now? Is it?
Yeah, right now I am reading A Gift from the Sea by Anne Marlenberg. I reread that really often. It's kind of like the thing that helps me have perspective in like the life of being a woman and the seasons of being a woman. And it's an old book, but I think it's really timeless, and it kind of like helps ground me when I'm starting to feel a little like, my kids are growing up too fast, or, I'm not getting enough done career-wise or whatever. It kind of helps me slow down and reorient what I'm facing and where I'm going.
Yeah.
And what's important.
Well, that's good. I'll have to look into that one.
It's a really good book.
Who's it by again?
Anne Morrow Lindbergh. It's Charles Lindbergh's wife, the famous pilot.
And another thing that I ask my guests is, what are some things that you're loving, or what are the last 3 things you ordered on Amazon? Because we're all enamored with Amazon over here.
I know. I'm always on Amazon, always. Last things that I've ordered. I ordered Dela Cruz acne ointment. It's like a sulfur acne skincare thing. I'm all about the skincare. And so I feel like I'm constantly like, why does my skin hate me? I'm 32 years old. I thought I was supposed to be done with this when I was 15. So that's been a good one. I've read about it on all the beauty blogs, and it's like $7. So it's amazing. It smells like you just lit a match because it's sulfur, but it is amazing. It doesn't dry your skin out, but it takes care of it. So that's good. I just ordered we always get our shipping labels from Amazon, and they come really fast. And that's good because I'm always forgetting them. And we go through a zillion of them at a time. So we use the Dymo 4XL shipping like printer. We got that from Amazon too. But I think that's the most important thing that we've had for our retail businesses, because it prints quickly and the labels are really easy to get. Like you can buy lots of different brands. So that's one. And then also, this is really, really dumb, but I found out you can buy light bulbs on Amazon. And so we bought light bulbs for our whole house. We have an old house and the wiring is not great. So it goes out all the time. And so I've started like buying obscure random household things on Amazon, like light bulbs or concentrated cleaner and things that you don't really know that you're out of until you need it. And then I don't always have time in my schedule to like run by Target and go get stuff. So it's kind of been great knowing with Amazon Prime that you can just get it in 2 days. Or if I get it delivered to my office, we have Prime Now at the office. So I could get it within an hour if I wanted to. And so I've really kind of looked at things in my life that I can start to be smarter about how I buy it. And now we have like 10 jillion light bulbs, which is great because nothing is more annoying to me than when a light bulb in my kitchen is burnt out. And it just like throws off my whole vibe, and it throws off everything of how I feel about our house. So.
I get it. And I love that because it takes time, and it's actually more money if you do walk into Target. I mean, you can't just go in and buy some 409.
Right.
And come out with just that.
Exactly. And they have, yes. So, and I've been looking into some of the grocery delivery services also. And we have a thing that's, it just came to our area. It's called Imperfect Produce. And you can get a delivery of like all the ugly fruits and vegetables that they won't sell retail, and it's cheaper. And so I'm looking into doing that too, because who cares what your fruits and vegetables look like? And yeah, it comes to you in a box at the front of your house. So
wow, is it like a CSA box?
Kind of. It's not
variety, or you get to pick.
I think it's just a variety. I don't know. I think you can get kind of specific about it, but then it's like within a variety.
Okay.
So yeah, but those are things that are intriguing me right now.
Yeah, that sounds Very interesting. I do the grocery store. I do Walmart sometimes where I'll just keep a running list. And then on Sunday I'll click. And somebody was telling me, one of my girlfriends was like, well, I really do like to go grocery shopping. And I'm like, well, I do too. But if you can imagine, like, it takes like time to grocery shop and pick out your things. And then it takes time to, load them into your car and then drive home and then put your things away. Imagine skipping the other that whole another hour where you're shopping and just pick it up.
Yeah. I totally agree. And I kind of had some times with the like grocery delivery where like the produce wasn't as good as what I wanted. It wasn't what I would pick out, or they don't have things or things like that. So a way that I've found to kind of like life hack the grocery shopping situation is I know people say that it doesn't have everything they need, but I only shop at Aldi, and it's small. I can get in and out in like 20 minutes shopping for the week for the 6 of us. And I don't make elaborate meals. I stick to the same probably 10 meals that I make all the time. And I can get in and out really fast. And I use the big reusable shopping bags so that I finally decided like I'm done unloading groceries from my car. Like I have 4 boys that can help with that. So I just grocery shop real quick, get home, and I try to keep it to like 4 of the big shopping bags, and each kid gets a bag. I grab the 2 gallons of milk, and then we're in the door within, 30 or 40 minutes of the whole rigmarole. So that's kind of how I've figured it out, but I'm always open for new suggestions.
Oh, that sounds good. I mean, I love Aldi. I don't know. Have you seen the little Aldi? It's a keychain with a quarter in it.
I need to get one. I've seen them on Etsy. And I need to get one because I never have a quarter on me. Right. Never. And I'm always like, Lord, please let some kind soul let me use their cart. Or I scrounge up all the pennies from my minivan and take it to the cashier, and I'm like, have mercy on me. Please give me a quarter. But yes, I need to get one of those keychains. Yeah. I always think about doing that. So we should put that in the show notes, because I feel like lots of people love Aldi and they want, everybody needs something to do with their quarter.
Yeah. If you don't know about Aldi, it's a grocery store. It's kind of the no frills grocery store where everything's just like, they just don't even put it on the shelf. It's just cut out, still in the box.
Yeah.
And you take your own bags, and you have to put a quarter as a deposit to get your cart out, which keeps I think everybody should do that. I mean,
it is a smart idea. Yeah. So that way they don't have to employ people to go get the carts and do all that. But what I really like in general about Aldi is that, at least by us, they're small. The parking lots are small. They get you in and out really fast. The cashiers are faster than any, because they don't put it in bags for you. They just plop it back into your cart, and then you pull away, and then you bag it yourself. So I don't know. I feel like I like the experience of it a lot. And when we're living in a world where a lot of things are, I kind of worry about losing the personal touch about everything that we kind of like outsource. And I don't know, I just wonder what that's going to be like as we move into the future. And that's been everything for the whole progression of time. So we'll be fine. It will be fine. But I do try to think of like ways that it's kind of like a hybrid. Like, it's not totally getting your groceries delivered to you, but they make ways where it is a good user experience that goes quickly, because I think we're all about convenience and quickness. And a lot of times having too many choices makes our decision making a lot harder. And so what I appreciate about Aldi is it's like, no, we don't have everything. Like, they don't have salsa verde there. So if I'm making white chicken chili, I have to get that somewhere else. So that's kind of annoying, but I appreciate it in all the other aspects of that. They don't have 19 different kinds of ketchup and, just all that stuff. So,
and the produce is really good there all the time, and it's inexpensive.
Eggs and milk are super cheap there, which we go through a lot of both. So,
love that.
So good.
This was so much fun. Thanks, Hayley, for coming on.
Oh,